China's role in the Russo-Japanese War, 1904 to 1905, was complex, shaped by its position as a weak and fragmented empire in the face of growing imperialist pressures from both Russia and Japan. The conflict, which pitted Russia against Japan over control of Manchuria and Korea, had significant repercussions for China, as both Russia and Japan sought to exert influence over Chinese territories. China's position at the outset of the war. At the time of the Russo-Japanese War, China was a weakened empire suffering from internal instability, with the Qing dynasty struggling to manage both external pressures from foreign powers and internal rebellions, such as the Boxer Rebellion, 1899 to 1901. As a result, China was largely powerless to directly influence the outcome of the war, though its strategic location and the fate of its territories were critical to the conflict. 1. Manchuria. Manchuria, a region in northeastern China, was a major point of contention in the Russo-Japanese War. Both Russia and Japan had imperial ambitions in the area, and their actions directly impacted Chinese sovereignty. Russia had established a significant military and economic presence in Manchuria, particularly after the construction of the Chinese Eastern Railway, while Japan sought to secure its interests in the region following the Treaty of Shimonoseki, 1895, which ended the First Sino-Japanese War and resulted in Japan gaining influence over parts of China. 2. Korea. Korea, a tributary state of China for centuries, had become a key area of competition between Russia and Japan. Japan's rise as a regional power in the late 19th century had led to its increasing control over Korea, which Russia sought to challenge. This conflict over Korea further complicated China's position, as it feared the potential loss of its influence over its neighboring kingdom. China's limited involvement. Although China did not actively participate in the Russo-Japanese War, the conflict had direct consequences for the Chinese empire. 1. Neutrality and weakness. Despite being a nominal neutral party, China's inability to defend its territorial integrity made it a passive player in the conflict. Both Russia and Japan viewed China as a secondary concern, yet their military operations in Manchuria and Korea directly affected Chinese interests. 2. Loss of influence. The war's outcome led to the further erosion of China's influence in Manchuria. After Japan's victory, Japan established dominance over Korea and increased its presence in the region, further weakening China's control over its northeastern territories. Russia, similarly, saw its influence in China diminish after its defeat. 3. Domestic impact. The defeat of Russia in the Russo-Japanese War had significant domestic repercussions in China. The war marked a shift in the balance of power in East Asia, as Japan emerged as a major military power. This shift undermined China's imperial authority and reinforced the perception that China needed reform to compete with rising powers like Japan. The defeat of Russia also contributed to the instability in China, as it highlighted the Qing dynasty's inability to protect Chinese interests, which was one factor that led to the Xinhai Revolution of 1911 and the eventual fall of the Qing dynasty. Conclusion. While China did not directly engage in the Russo-Japanese War, the conflict had a profound impact on the Chinese empire. The war further weakened China's position in East Asia, as both Japan and Russia competed for control of its territories, particularly in Manchuria and Korea. Japan's victory over Russia marked the emergence of Japan as a regional power, an outcome that would shape China's future political and military strategies. The Russo-Japanese War underscored China's vulnerability in the face of imperialism and set the stage for the broader changes that would eventually lead to the end of the Qing dynasty and the rise of a new republic in China.